What is going on, guys? So I wanted to make this video, right, because it's kind of helped me reevaluate the way I look at life, the way I look at buying stuff. And I was having lunch with a buddy of mine, and we kind of talked about this topic in a sense, right? And yeah, so I figured why not make a video about it, describing it. So first off, right off the bat, right, this is basically people are like, they see the way I live my life, right? I'm just gonna be straightforward. They see the nice cars, watches, houses, travel, all of that. They're like, dang, he makes good money. Here's the thing. I don't pay for any of it, right? And that you might be thinking like, oh, great, his parents pay for it. No, actually, random people I don't know pay for it, and you're thinking how? So here's the thing. Today's society, everyone is a fake rich wannabe, right? We can see this on social media, YouTube, right? You guys can see the advertisements. People rent the Lambo for $200 a day or whatever, right? And they basically, shoot the YouTube video for it, and right, put the ads. People buy their crap, then they actually make money, and it's just a continuing circle until one day the funds run out, or if they play it well enough, like Ty Lopez, they make it. So here's the thing. What I ended up figuring out, and this was actually completely by accident, so it actually started, I was in college, and I started renting out my Audi in order to make, the monthly car payments. Could I afford the extra, like, $569 a month on the car? Yes, that was not the big issue. The thing is, I just really did not need it, right? I mainly bought the car in order to drive into the mountains to go skiing. Now, during that other time, I would literally be taking the tracks to school because, one, it was faster, and two, I did not want to pay for parking, and I did not want to pay the $600 to get a parking permit for the semester because I'm like, I already hate school enough as it is, as much money as it costs, this is freaking ridiculous. So I started renting it out. Now, one thing I ended up noticing is this works really well. Then over the summer, I ended up buying a Corvette, right? Because I was in between like Utah and Texas, and I'm like, I'm gonna get a car down here, so let me get a Corvette, right? I found one that I really liked. It was honestly an impulse purchase. I literally looked at it that day, drove off with it on the lot that day, which is something I've never really done. Now I do it quite a lot, frankly. And the funny thing about that car is I actually rented it out because I'm like, okay, crap, I bought this. I'm going to be now gone for the next 2 months. That's basically like $1,600 of payments I don't want to make. So what did I end up doing? I rented that out as well, and it started taking off. The first month, it did almost $3,000. Yeah, it was renting out for about $150 a day. And I'm just like, this is freaking insane, So then, since then, it's just kind of grown, right? The Porsche, the Corvette, the Mustang, the other Mustang, the Tesla, the other Tesla, the Jaguar, the Audi, the BMW, the other BMW, right? It just continues and continues and continues, right? They just keep renting out. And so what has this allowed me to do? This has allowed me to buy stuff I would not buy. What kind of, 21-year-olds needs a dozen cars? Unless I have billions in the bank, I don't. But here's the thing. If it's free and it makes me money, here's the thing, right? I made it so that I have all the calculation costs. I have the depreciation of the car. Basically, if you guys don't know me, I'm a huge numbers person, right? So I hate the unknown, right? So I basically have an Excel sheet of what the car costs me, right? How much I put down on it, how much the monthly payment on it, how much the insurance on it, how much the depreciation of the car on it is, right? What I could probably get for the car resale value during this time, yada yada, all those kind of variables, and then I come down, how much does this car, with maintenance and everything, actually cost me per month on top of the monthly payment, and how much does it bring in, and is it worth it? So I found out that so far it is, and I'm currently in the process of getting 3 more cars. So, like, for example, one of the cars I ended up buying was a Tesla Model 3, right? Ended up buying it, got into an accident, still rents out really well. It's an accident car now. Here's the thing, I don't want to keep it for too much longer, so I actually just sold it as of, I think, about 20 minutes ago, and I actually ended up selling it for $9,000 over what I paid for. Now, due to these market conditions, I was able to do that. Under normal circumstances, if we go back a couple of years, it would not have been possible. But given the fact it was a Tesla and the market condition we are currently in, it was. So a damaged vehicle that I owned for about less than a year has gone up $9,000 in value. Let's just put that into perspective. So that's how my cars get afforded. People pay me to rent them. And I've literally had someone rent the Corvette, right? They picked it up at my house for a day, right? They literally rented it, I think, from like 10 a.m. until like 8 p.m. at night. They rented it. Right as they were picking up, they started taking photos. Here's the thing, they parked it so it was literally pointing at my house. I'm like, great, now you guys are doing a photo shoot with my house in the background. Freaking fantastic. And I can guarantee you, those ended up on Instagram somewhere. Now, I've literally had people, right, a guy, he ended up picking the car up, again, from the airport. And he's like, what do you do for a living? So I'm just like, oh, I mainly trade stocks, you know? Like, oh, I'm a Forex trader. Followed me. What happens next? The next day I see on the feed, right, Corvette, he's like, just got a new whip. I'm like, yeah, for the day. Like, bro. Right? Same thing with my Porsche, right? It's funny how it works. So by people pretending to be rich, they were actually making me rich. Fun statement of the day. Now, same thing with my watches. If you guys don't know, I can give you the exact number. I'm very transparent about everything and never believe anything anyone says, including myself, if there is not proof, right? So, currently right now, my watch collection estimated is between $540,702 and $638,150. Now, my profit on these is $369,000. Right, let me zoom into the camera for you guys so you can see. Somehow, I really hope so. But yeah, I'm just gonna zoom. There we go. Hopefully you guys can see. But so now, how am I able to afford basically over $500,000 in watches? I can't. I really can't. And it's also stupid. Now, watches rent out as well, and I'm not even kidding. I have had people basically pay me $110 a day to borrow my Rolex Submariner, the black dial one, right? That watch cost me $11,000. It rented out. Basically what I do is sometimes I finance the watch, I finance the cars, I basically finance a crap ton, and they pay me. They pay me to rent it out. Here's the way I do it. Same with watches and cars. I have the exact same system. I rent it out until it is completely paid for, or until I end up selling that item for more than what I paid for, or the same price that I paid for, while keeping that rental income that entire time and using it for something else. That is kind of the system I have with my watches and my cars. And my rule is, if something does not make me double what it costs me per month, I get rid of it. That is my rule, and everything. Now, you're wondering, okay, great, so that explains watches, cars. What about the houses? Same thing, guys. I buy the house, I use a little bit of the money down, I rent it out, then I take the same exact thing. I do the same exact thing, and you know, I live with roommates, so that also really doesn't cost me anything, because now you're like, why doesn't that cost me anything? Because I was the one who ended up doing all the work, finding the place, getting that place, and basically putting down the down payment. So I want my return on investment, and that is me living for free. So I don't live for free, right? Now, so that has one of the biggest expenses most people have is car and mortgage. I don't have that, and yet I still have properties and cars. So right now everything is just an asset, and I live for free. And I have some nice watches, so yeah. Now, the next thing that a lot of people ask is, okay, what about travel? If you guys don't know, I basically have like the cars cost me a good amount of money, the houses, and so do the watches on finances. And I actually charge it all to my credit cards, or all the things I can if it's not direct deposit. Charge it all to my credit cards. Now, I also have 2 Amazon automation stores, which basically spend around $8,000 a month in inventory. That I get back at the end of the month anyway, plus some profit. So that, on top of that, I basically made a video how I spent almost $100,000 per month, which is actually accurate. However, almost none of that is on myself. So every single month, I'm getting around 100,000 Amex points, which if you convert to Delta is about 100,000 Delta points, or if you convert it to Hilton, which is about 200,000 Hilton points every single month. Now, you can do smaller conversions here and there, but basically either way, at the end of the month, I have about 100,000 Amex points. Now, on top of that as well, I have a bot ended up buying a companion pass for Delta. What this means is I fly first class for free, so that takes care of my flights. Now, that was in the obviously double-digit thousand ranges. I'm not going to give the exact price. But it is between $10,000 to $20,000 is how much that costs. But honestly, it's worth it because if I break it down, it saves me a lot of money, and then I use all my points for hotels. Right now, currently in Germany, and well, right now I'm at my girlfriend's place, so obviously she's not charging me. But like going to Italy on Friday, and that entire trip is paid for through points. If I go to Paris, points. If I go to Spain, points. Hawaii, points. Mexico, points. Points, 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 points. That is how I travel for free. So my only actual costs in life right now are clothes, which have basically been cheapened quite a bit, right? With the fitness sponsorship that I make my own, that I basically have my own clothing brand, right? So that made it a lot cheaper. And kind of like that, and obviously everyone that supports my brand, if you guys want to, first link down below, right? I'm very proud of the clothes. I like wearing them. I like the designs. And basically the way I kind of calculate that out, right? Let's say for every 3 people that buy a shirt, I can then myself buy one, and it does not cost me anything because the profit from those 3 sales is kind of the cost of the shirt to make, which is nice. So, that's kind of a nice factor to have as well. Now, obviously, right, I do buy other clothes, right? Like this flannel right here, I got it at Kroger for like $20. And I'm not really that big on clothes. I have some nice clothes. I usually shop decently smart. But, obviously, if I spend $500 a month on clothes, it's not going to be the end of the world because, I have income from my Amazon automation stores profit. I have my stock trading. I have the profit from the cars and the watches and the house. So, it all kind of comes down to that, and basically with everything I do, TikTok pays me as well, which again is super nice, and, I got some companies that I make money. I do work, for a living, so kind of, I just basically found all I do is work and try to not spend money on what most people spend money on, so, basically I have the freedom of buying whatever food I want and clothes I want. And those are actually my only expenses. Now, sometimes unforeseen expenses do come. But honestly, most of my money, then what I actually do is, let's just say, for example, I make $10,000 profit in a month, just for simple math. Literally, the very first thing I do is I take 50% of that, and I would chuck it in investments. Right now, my monthly investments, my minimum monthly investments for stocks and crypto is $5,500 per month. That is the minimum I invest every single month, because I do have bigger plans, right? I know this rental stuff isn't going to last forever, so I want to get to that point where I can literally just live off the income from my crypto. If you guys don't know, that is actually how I made all my money, is that basically I bought Dogecoin back in 2016. Yes, I know it's a funny thing to be, but I bought Dogecoin in 2016, basically put $3,500, turned into 1.9. So since then, that's how I got the money for the automation stores. That's how I have my crypto portfolio fund, and all of that. That's how I got the down payments for the houses, the down payments for the cars and watches and all of that. And since then, I've just basically used that money. Obviously, I have bought some fun stuff for myself. I love my Iron Man, helmet, my Elon Musk flamethrower, the Boring Company one. I buy dumb stuff, but I allow myself to. But that's also because every month, half of my monthly income minimum goes into investments. And then the rest, if I want to say, hey, personal use, I'm going to use that. So, again, that's kind of how I live my life. Gives you a different perspective. I'm not just stupid with my money like some people actually think. They're like, oh, it's just another dude making, $20,000 a month, blowing everything on cars and, travel. Not even close to the case. I think I spend 10%, if not less, of my monthly income on myself. The rest kind of goes to others, like actually just investments, to be honest with you. So just wanted to, give you guys a different perspective. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this perspective on life in this video. But anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow with another video. Peace out, guys.